Hi, this is Jacob with Wholesale Septic Supply. We've gotten a few questions about the barb that comes in the box with these units. So today I'm going to briefly describe what those barbs are for and where they go on this unit. So once you open up your new high blow HP80, you might notice that there's a packet like this in there that'll have a little barb. One side of it will be threaded and the other side will have a connection that you could slide an 1/8 inch hose over. But it's not entirely clear where that goes on this unit, so today we're going to go over that. At the bottom here, you might be able to see this screw that I'm pointing at. We can unscrew that and take it out, and then the threaded part of this barb will get screwed into where this screw came out of. Now, if I plug this aerator in, then air will start shooting out of that. So what I need to do is take a hose like this and connect it to a pressure switch in my control panel. The pressure switch will be connected to an alarm, so whenever this stops working, there'll be no more pressure in that line, and the alarm will trigger, letting me know that there's a problem with my unit. Now let's look at how this unit would get hooked up to a control panel and the alarm in the control panel. So as you can see here, I've taken out the screw that was in that slot and replaced it with a barb. Now, I'll have an 1/8 inch hose that will slide over this. Now, whenever the unit turns on, this line will become pressurized. Once this line is pressurized, I can run this line over to my control panel. Typically, this is where the unit will get its power from, but sometimes, if you'll see that this has a plug, it'll just get plugged into an outlet, and I can just monitor how it's working with this air hose hooked up to what's called a pressure switch in this control panel. So the hose just gets connected in down here. If I can pull it off for a moment. So there's a little, basically a barb on the bottom of this pressure switch. So whenever there's pressure, the contacts open, so the alarm turns off. And then whenever you lose pressure, the contacts close and the buzzer and the light will come on. Now, we also have you might have a pressure switch that looks like this. These will be the terminals that get connected to the wires in the control panel. But down here, I don't know if you can see that, there will be like a little thing that the hose can slide over. And that's how it connects and applies pressure to that switch. So this is a Fuji MAC. This is also a linear diaphragm aerator like the high blow we just looked at. Now, similarly to the high blow, this will also have a little screw that we can undo and put in a barb to connect to the pressure hose that we were just looking at. Now, keep in mind, I can just leave that in there and plug the unit in and it'll work fine. But if I want to hook this up to an alarm so that I'm notified when the air pressure drops, that's why I take that screw out and put this barb in there. But if I don't care about the alarm, I can just plug this in and it'll work. So this is a blue diamond aerator, also another linear diaphragm aerator like the two we've just looked at. It also has a little bar that'll go in the bottom of this unit to connect to an air hose, but it's in a bit different spot than the other ones. So if I flip this on its side, we're looking at the bottom here. And for the blue diamonds, they just have a little port on the bottom where you can see that barb. So it's same thing, just in a different spot. So this is another high blow, but unlike the previous one, this has an alarm that is built onto the unit. So previously we looked at a control panel that hooked up with a pressure switch. Whenever I would lose pressure from my high blow, it would trigger the alarm in my control panel. Now, I don't always have a control panel that I want to use, or for whatever reason I just don't want one. So high blow makes models that have that alarm already built into it. So there is a little connection that goes into the bottom of these units that provides pressure to a pressure switch in here. But these don't have another screw somewhere else on the unit where a barb gets connected to an airline, because this already does that for you. So if this unit ever broke down and stopped putting out air pressure, then the alarm on the unit would notify me, so it would make a sound and this light would illuminate.